That you need to make or a question that you want to ask, please come forward. We'll give you the mic for a minute or two, and we're going to record all the information we get from you so that we can action it. This is not just let's get together, have a meeting, sing kumbaya, go home, and then nothing changes. We want stuff to change. That's why we're here tonight. Yeah. Thanks, everybody.
Yes.
Good evening, everybody. Can I just, by a show of hands, who of you know about the Bluff Ratepayers and Residents Association? Okay. Good. I like to see that. Thank you so much. So, as Norman said, thank you very much for coming through this evening. I think this is, by far, it's the largest community meeting that I've attended. So, give yourselves all a round of applause because you know that you are interested in fixing the community. So your presence demonstrates the strength and the unity of a community determined to stand up for what is rightfully ours: safety, justice and dignity. Tonight we address a crisis that has plagued our community for far too long. This is not just about statistics or a report. It is about the lives of every person here, the safety of our families and the future of the Bluff. What is deeply ironic is that earlier today I was threatened with arrest for proceeding with this meeting tonight because I did not seek permission to convene it. According to regulations of Gatherings Act, any convener of a meeting of more than 15 people in a public place... Sorry, let's just switch over. Hello? Okay, good. Okay, so where was I? So any convener of a meeting of more than 15 people in a public place must give 7 days notice to the authorities and wait for approval before proceeding. Approval that would most certainly have been denied given the topic we are discussing here tonight. It is also worth noting that the Gatherings Act was promulgated in January 1994 and essentially an anti-apartheid piece of legislation, originally designed to control mass gatherings during the political volatile time. The irony here is therefore twofold. Firstly, I could be arrested for organizing a meeting to address the lack of law enforcement, and that arrest would be carried out by the very law enforcement we are demanding action from. Second, while some... Hello? Can you hear me? Yeah. So second, while some pre-apartheid legislation has been deemed unacceptable in our democratic dispensation, this particular legislation seems to remain in use when it suits the politicians of the day. This should serve as a stark reminder of just how thoroughly the system has collapsed, failing every citizen of this beautiful country. When those who break the law are afforded more rights than law-abiding citizens, we know we are living in a system that has turned its back on justice. It is time for us as citizens to reclaim the rights we have so freely handed over to others to control us. Many people ask what can be done. Well, the fact that you are here tonight means you are already doing something, but we need to do more. Start asking questions. Stop accepting mediocrity. We are entitled to much better than what we are receiving. We must stop being afraid to demand what we are entitled to: services, safety and justice, because we pay our rates. We are not asking for favors, we are demanding that the government uphold their end of the contractual bargain they have with us. So just to illustrate my points that I've mentioned above, I want to ask, please raise your hand if you or someone in your family has experienced any form of crime on the Bluff. Okay. So,
Drug house.
So you look around and nearly every hand is raised. This is the truth of our lives here on the Bluff. Almost all of us have been victims, or we know someone who has. This is not normal. This is not acceptable. We are a community living in fear and we deserve better. Now, I would like you to raise your hand if you feel you did not receive justice for the crime you or your family reported. Okay. This is heartbreaking. Justice is not just a word, it is a promise that should be fulfilled for every victim of crime. When justice is denied, the system fails us, and that failure is not just an oversight, it is a violation of our constitutional rights.
Yes, I agree with that. Yes.
Next question. I'm sorry Colonel Kruger, I know you're not going to like this one. How many have been to Brighton Beach Police Station to open a case only to be turned away? Please raise your hand. So this is shocking, but sadly it is something we have all heard before. When law enforcement turns people away, it sends a dangerous message that crime is allowed to flourish unchecked. It is a betrayal of their duty to serve and protect. To the official present here tonight, let me be crystal clear. We do not want to hear about a lack of resources. That is not our problem, it is yours.
Yes.
We, the ratepayers of this city, contribute our hard-earned money to ensure that the government fulfills its duties. It is grossly unfair to tell us to accept the responsibility of protecting ourselves or to pay additional security companies to do what you are failing to do. We are entitled to the resources we pay for. We should not have to foot the bill, risk our lives, and step into the shoes of law enforcement. We are volunteers, not professionals equipped to handle dangerous criminals. More so, we may not carry out certain functions, which places us in a very dangerous situation when encountering a hardened criminal on the street. Our families will not be compensated by government funds if we lose our lives while performing duties we should not have to take on. Again, I say, we are not asking for favors. We are demanding what we are entitled to as law-abiding citizens and ratepayers of this city. Let this be understood. The Bluff community will no longer tolerate being ignored or pushed to take matters into our own hands. It is time for the government to step up and fulfill its constitutional and legislative responsibilities. And in so doing, we have prepared a detailed document that outlines the alarming statistics, the constitutional violations, and the community's demands. This document is more than words. It is a call to action. So I'm just going to read a section of the document. I'm not going to read the whole document. I am addressing it to the President, the Minister of Security, the Head of eThekwini Municipality, and a couple of other people. So, dear Honourable Minister Mchunu, I am writing on behalf of the Bluff community to address the urgent need for consistent law enforcement and access control measures to ensure public safety and order in our area. Both SAPS and the eThekwini Metropolitan Police Department have critical roles in addressing these concerns, and we call for immediate collaboration and action. Despite our repeated appeals, there have been a noticeable absence of consistent law enforcement presence, leading to a deterioration in public safety and quality of life. This document outlines communities' grave concerns about the escalating crime rates and the lack of adequate law enforcement in our area. Despite constitutional and legislative mandates, the Bluff has been subjected to systemic neglect, leaving residents fearful and confined to their homes. This document highlights key statistics, analyzes their implications, and provides a detailed call to action for government authorities at all levels. And I'm not going to read all the stats, but I just want to draw reference to a couple of key attempted murder stats. 2023, there was 22 reported. In 2024, we had 34 attempted murder cases opened at Brighton Beach Police Station. These are Bluff stats. Driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs. In 2023, we had 6 cases. In 2024, we had 26. Drug-related crimes. In 2023, 259. In 2024, 298. Illegal possession of firearms and ammunitions. 2023, 25. And 2024, 28. Kidnapping. In 2023, we had 25 cases of kidnapping. In 2024, we had 28 cases. That is up from previous years only at 8. But any kidnapping at any level is unacceptable. Malicious damage to property, our property that we work so hard for. In 2023, there was 81 cases reported, and 2024, 77. Murder cases, 2023, 16, 2024, 21 murder cases reported at Bluff. And those are the ones that are reported that we now know about, not the ones that are unreported. And as we lead into 16 days of activism, this one really got to me. Rape cases. 2023, we had 26 cases reported. In 2024, 31. Now, again, I say, those are the ones that are reported. Not all rapes are reported. Robbery with aggravating circumstances. In 2023, 187. In 2024, 238 cases opened on the Bluff. Street robberies. In 2023, 72. In 2024, 127. I'm sorry guys, this to me is just wholly unacceptable.
Correct.
So just to put it into perspective, the key analysis, the statistics highlights a worrying trend of escalating violent property crimes. Murders have increased by 75% from 2020 to 2024, while attempted murders have surged fivefold. Property crimes such as burglaries and theft of motor vehicles show a fluctuating yet consistently high trajectory. These trends significantly signify systemic failures in law enforcement and resource allocation. So what is the impact on the community? Our beachfront neglect. I mean, I'm sure you are all just absolutely heartbroken at the sight of what we see. Most of us have spent our childhood in these pools, and I'm just devastated at what I see here. Residents who have invested in beachfront properties are now reluctant to utilize these spaces due to safety concerns. The lack of law enforcement has resulted in increased criminal activities, making the beach area unsafe for families and visitors. Earlier, we had an interview with one of the lifeguards on duty, and he made it very clear that his job is extremely difficult. Kids can't even use the beach because the amount of glass, broken bottles, alcohol bottles on the beach. When we arrived here, just about every car in this parking lot either was drinking next to their vehicle or had alcohol in their vehicle. So it's just not acceptable. What is also stark clarity for me is there is very much unequal service delivery. So it has come to our attention that other beaches within the municipality receive regular law enforcement patrols and resources while the Bluff is neglected. This disparity in service delivery is unconstitutional, violating Section 9 of the Constitution, which guarantees equality before the law and equal protection and benefit of the law. Understaffed police station. I'm not sure who here attended the Imbizo yesterday, but I asked a few very pertinent questions, and it was very clear to me that the Brighton Beach Police Station is critically understaffed and under-resourced. They are therefore unable to adequately serve our population of over 60,000 residents. The current personnel and resources are wholly insufficient to address the needs of the community, let alone the neighboring areas. Remember, they don't just serve the Bluff, they also serve the Merebank and Orsaville areas as well. So just in terms of the legislation, under Section 12 of the Constitution, all South Africans have the right to freedom and security, including protection from violence. Furthermore, Section 9 ensures equality before the law and the equal benefit of public services. The neglect of the Bluff constitutes a violation of these constitutional rights. Additionally, the Municipal Systems Act obliges municipalities to provide equitable and sustainable services, which are clearly lacking in our community. The South African Police Services is mandated by Section 205 of the Constitution to prevent, combat and investigate crime, maintain public order, protect and secure the inhabitants of the Republic and their property, and uphold and enforce the law. The current situation on the Bluff indicates a failure to fulfill these obligations, compromising the safety and well-being of our community. So our demands: we want permanent law enforcement personnel on the Bluff to address the crime epidemic. And yes, I had the question earlier, don't we already have permanent law enforcement? Well, I'm going to say to you, on paper, yes, but in reality, how many of you see any patrols of either Metro or SAPS? Because I don't.
Metro, yes.
Sometimes. From the Bluff, exactly. We want dedicated services. We've got 60,000 residents on the Bluff as per the 2011 census. 2022 census, they have not divided it into communities, so we have no idea the increase in population. We are estimating approximately 80,000 people. I asked the question yesterday at the Mbizo, what is the ratio for police officials per population? And I was told it's supposed to be 1 to 420 residents. So there's 121 staff members at the police station, and they work shifts. So you can do the maths. So we want adequate resources to staff and equip the Brighton Beach Police Station. I would like a satellite metro station permanently at the Bluff, not just at the beach, not just over Christmas for a week. Collaboration and engagement. It was very clear to me, and we know Metro is not here today, so they will be at the brunt of that next week when we touch base with the mayor. But it is very clear to me that there is no collaboration between Metro and SAPS, which is half our problem, because the one is supposed to pick up the other one's slack. We were told yesterday that Metro only works during office hours, so that essentially means you've got bylaw enforcement during the day with SAPS trying to pick up the slack of bylaw enforcement after hours. That's not acceptable. Before I conclude, I want to open the floor to all of you, my fellow community members. Your voices are just as important as this document we are handing over today. This is our shared fight, and together we make the strongest impact. So anybody who would like to have the mic?
It's open mic night, everybody. So,
why can't we make this beach a paid beach?
Can't. It's
Unconstitutional.
No, but why can't we change it? There's a way to change the constitution.
So if we all stand together and we fight for that and sign a petition, then we may have a chance. But if we can't all stand together, it's never going to happen.
Can we not make it that we all get a disc that tells us that we are Bluff residents? Should one of your family be coming from any other thing, you apply to some place, you get that disc, you're allowed to attend the beach. I am thinking, sorry, I don't know if everyone can hear me. Boom gate there and a boom gate here. You cannot get in unless you have a disc. So, I know there are legalities that this is a free beach. However, as ratepayers of Durban, I suggest we have a boom gate there for exiting, for the cops to check people drinking down at the bottom.
is there anything else?
No, we can't. No, but if we
Okay, everybody. So it's already 7 o'clock. So if I can just ask for you, we hear you, and we will get an answer for you, because we can debate it here, and I don't think any of us fully understands the Municipal Management Act or even the laws that govern our beaches. What I do know, in my limited knowledge, is the beaches are here for everybody. We just happen to live close to them. So for us to impose a pay beach and deny access to someone because they can't afford it is just not right. We can't do that. But the purpose for tonight's meeting is to say that is where Metro Police and SAPS need to step in and police our beaches and our beach areas, our public spaces, so that we can also use them freely without being intimidated by mobs who come down here, consume copious amounts of alcohol, and intimidate everybody else. But we hear you, and we will answer the question.
Alison, I just want to know, we all have been to Mshlanga Beach over weekends. Why is there such a huge difference in resource allocation? We are one of the biggest tax-paying suburbs in the whole of Durban. Why does the Mshlanga Rocks get better treatment and more resources than us?
Okay, so now I'm going to explain to you guys something that is probably going to shock you, because, and this is the reason why I harped on equality. Mshlanga has a UIP system. Now, the way the UIP system works is you pay a little bit extra so that you can get extra resources from the municipality. Now, who of you feel that that is acceptable? It's not. We already pay. There are a set standard of services that we should be receiving. So we should not be accepting that. That was a scheme that somebody in the municipality came about to generate more revenue for the municipality so that we can overlook what has currently happened. But most of all, it is, as far as I'm concerned, unconstitutional. It is unconstitutional. We pay for services, we should see the services here on the Bluff. So I won't even propose the UIP because I do not feel it's right.
Very well said.
Anybody else?
Just use the mic, otherwise everybody there can't hear.
Okay. Well, first of all, I would like to say that years ago, about at least 4 or 5 years ago, the police used to patrol here. And if people were drinking, you got a fine. Today, you don't even see them. And then secondly, I would just like to ask Alison, you're going to propose this to them. Is it going to help us? You know, what are we expecting out of this?
So what I've learned over the year and a half, it's a challenge. It is not an easy fight, but we have to keep fighting. The Ratepayers Association has already made leaps and bounds in terms of our capacity in liaising with officials and getting them to respond to things. So it may not happen overnight, but we cannot stop fighting. For those of you that are not aware, I am working on a project. I have checked the legislation. It is very possible. It is very possible for us to become our own municipality. When we achieve that, these problems that we are experiencing by having to share resources with everybody else in eThekwini goes away. Your 25 million of rates that they are collecting every month, and that's just residential rates, will get spent here on the Bluff with dedicated services. So I cannot understand why anybody would think that that is a bad idea. I just cannot. It doesn't, my mind does not comprehend.
At the moment, how much does the Bluff get back on our rates?
Nothing. About a million. Sorry, I'm speculating.
We don't know. Unfortunately, the new system that this metro has adopted is they have a one-pot policy. Everybody's rates from all over the eThekwini goes into an account, and all the service department units, electricity, water, sanitation, parks and gardens, they all submit their budgets, and then the money gets divided. So we have no way of calculating other than by just having a look at our suburb and saying, are we getting what we're giving the city? Are we getting that in return? Yeah. So we don't get. If I was spitballing, I'd say we probably get 30, if at most 30% of our rate money back on the Bluff. And that's spitballing. Just to get
30% of our rates.
Okay. All right. So we can't do that, guys. Let's understand this. A rates boycott is not legal. Westville tried it. We tried very hard. Alison researched it for us. It's the advantage of having a legal on your Bluff Ratepayers Association committee. You cannot withhold your rates, unfortunately. But what we can do is, if there are areas where we are not getting service delivery, we can challenge the city to stop billing us, and we can do that ourselves. But then we need to collect the money from the ratepayers. I just want to go back to the question that was asked, is tonight going to help? Is our letter to the city going to help? I'm extremely encouraged by the amount of people that have come out this evening. Because traditionally on the Bluff, if we get 30 people at a community meeting, that's a lot. And unfortunately, if we are representing a community and only 30 people engage with us, it doesn't give us a loud enough voice to take to the city. But the city will understand who it is. It's one of the reasons why we take the register, so that we can show them who turned out for the meeting. If you want to help yourselves, please turn up for meetings. We had a war room election over just last week. There were less than 60 people in the room. And the war room is a facility that's put in place to help us as a community engage with the city. I don't believe a war room is necessary personally if you have a functional ratepayers association, which you do. We advocate for you. We go and we meet with the service departments of the city. We meet with the executive management of the city on your behalf. But with your support, we can achieve that much more. Currently, our membership in terms of our ratepayers association is sitting at just under 600 people. We estimate there are approximately 11 or 12,000 ratepayers on the Bluff. we have approximately, we think, in the region of 70,000 residents. So we need those numbers to increase. If we can go to the city and say we actively represent 5 or 10,000 people that live on the bluff, they have no choice but to listen to us because they have to take us seriously. But your coming out here tonight is the first step in that direction. So I just want to thank you for that. And then just quickly, with regards to crime and crime prevention, we need to understand that, I'm sure you have the picture, but if you don't, understand this, that we have a police station that should have 140 members, currently only has 121. So they're currently under-resourced by 19 people. When we asked the question, our police station used to be, our police commissioner here used to be a brigadier. It was downscaled to a colonel station. That means less people. The reason why it was downscaled was because the level of crime reporting, or the crime statistics, had dropped. So go figure that out. If you don't report crimes, they think there isn't a problem, so they take police and resources away. So when our commissioner asks, our station commander asks for more resources, they look at the crime stats and they go, well, you don't really need them. So I'm encouraging you, speak to your family, speak to your friends, speak to the people in your streets. If they have a housebreaking or they have a garden robbery, it doesn't matter how petty it seems to you. We have to go to the police station, we have to open a case. The more cases that we record, obviously the higher our problem is and the more chance we have got of getting resources. So we depend on you as the community to also do that for us. Are we in agreement with that?
100%.
Can we do that?
100%.
Let's make the police work for us. If we don't go and complain, like you go to a restaurant and you get half the plate of food, if you don't tell the manager, he's not going to bring you the other half.
Okay, if you say need to come and take us away.
Is, sorry, oh, they're there. All right, quickly guys, it's about 7:15. I don't want to keep you any longer. Is there anybody else that would just like to make a comment? Please, man.
Norman, I'm sure I'm an ugly voice. How can we, okay, this is the biggest gathering that we said. But how do you go about getting all those other ratepayers that are on the bluff to start attending these meetings, but they shout the loudest but don't do the most? I know you hear that all the time.
We do.
Yeah, so what system or how can us guys with you guys do this?
Look, when Alison and I were voted in to take over the Bluff Ratepayers Association in February of 2023, I think the level of confidence in a Ratepayers Association on the Bluff probably was at an all-time low, and I don't think people took us seriously in terms of what are we really going to be able to achieve. But I think over the last 18 months or so, we've gained momentum and we're starting to show the value of what a functional ratepayers association has for you. So I just want to encourage you, you're all on street groups. Everybody on the bluff is on a street group. Encourage your members on the street groups to join the Ratepayers Association. We have a link, it's very simple. Click on the link, it opens up, you fill in your information, and Bob's your uncle. Our Ratepayers Association takes one application per address. So we don't need mom, dad, and the kids to join. We just need either mom or dad, whoever the ratepayer is. You fill in the form, and your family is now part of our Ratepayers Association. If I can encourage you all to speak to your street groups, encourage your friends in your communities, let's get on board. We do share information. We have Retaliate do a phenomenal job patrolling our streets. They've got groups that you can jump onto to be informed as to what is going on. And then also our CPF, very important, the CPF. They are linked to the police. Ideally, we as the Ratepayers chairman, I go to those CPF meetings to stay informed, but the advocate for this community with SAPS is our CPF. So they are active, they're a good bunch of people, they do a hell of a good job for us, so let's support them. And if you are keen to get involved, as I say, there's Retaliate that do a neighborhood watch type service amongst all the other social benefit projects that they do, and then obviously CPF has a patrolling network as well. But as Alison rightly said, we're not police. That's not our function. So we can't all run out there and become night patrollers to keep our bluff safe. But we can certainly keep our streets safe. So Mike, I hope that answers your question.
it does.
Please get your friends to join so we have a loud voice, so that we can really represent you with trying to get the right word, almost a tsunami of representation in Sydney.
I think what we need to see is we need to get heartful enough for what's happening in the Bluff, because we're working on the floor and I know what the services is all about. And there's no services. I promise you there's nothing. And we as people of the Bluff need to become heartful enough so that we can get thousands of people to these meetings, because we need people to stand behind us. Otherwise nothing is going to happen. And everyone here standing here, if you bring 10 people with you on the next meeting, guess what's going to happen? So we need every single person to stand up with us to make a change. Because if we have 50,000 people behind us, this municipality is nothing they can do against us. They will jump as high as we say they must jump. But at the moment we don't have that masses of people. So guys, we ask you, everything what we have, get heartful so that you can have a voice.
Well done.
Thank you. We're just checking if the Colonel would like to say a few words. But I think at this point, unfortunately, the Bluff is a beautiful community, but we are also a community full of shit. And I can say that because I am from the Bluff. We have to all accept it. So there are a lot of people that share a lot of misinformation, detractors we call them, and half of those things are not true. I mean, if I have to think back at everything that I was called when I started, it was actually quite disgusting. So there's a lot of politics at play, and not government politics, I mean politics in the community, but we need to stop with that. It doesn't bring us anywhere. It just causes us more grief. Then we turn to WhatsApps and social media and we bitch and moan and complain on there, and yes, you feel better because you've let the steam out, but it doesn't achieve anything. It's unproductive. So I think for me, we need to stand together. We need to stop this fighting amongst each other. It doesn't achieve anything, and the more we fight amongst each other, the more the municipality and the government is getting away with everything, because they're like, I see, they're fighting between each other. We need to stop that. So let me just check. I just also want to mention the Constitution of the Ratepayers Association does specify that if at a general meeting the committee decides, or the community decides, there will be a fee payable, then only a fee will be implemented. We've run the Ratepayers Association for 1.5 years without a fee-based subscription. So joining is absolutely free. Taking a decision to impose a fee will be done by you, not by me, not by the committee. It'll be done by you at a meeting. At the moment, we are all sharing and volunteering and performing all our services free of charge and doing as best we can. At some stage we may have to look at putting a fee, but that will be for upliftment of the community. There's a lot of things that we can do with a little bit of money. I'm sure all of you are just as aggrieved when you drive into the Bluff at what that looks like there. Can you imagine if we uplift that area, put a nice welcome wall as you drive into the Bluff to say welcome to the Bluff? We need to be proud of our area, but all of those things take money. It can't be done for free.
Listen, they closed just the right there.
Oh, have they?
Okay, folks, just in closing, once again, on behalf of our committee, we just want to thank you for giving up your time. And once again, thanks to Colonel Kruger, for his members for coming down, and for the Retaliate people and CPF. Guys, if you're on any of their WhatsApp groups, if you want to get involved with them, just contact Karot. He's available, or any of their members really. They'll be able to guide you in the right direction. We will also publish contact information for the CPF and for Retaliate, so you know who you can phone there. But if there isn't anybody that wants to just grab the mic quickly, I'm going to close the meeting. Wish you well for the rest of the evening. And we'll, Mike.
Can I ask you, I don't know if it's loud or not, to tell the people there's a walk tomorrow to Wentworth Hospital about the conditions there for everybody.
All right, so just, it's a little bit off the topic, but for those that you don't know, Andy Russell, were you Andy? Andy, I'm sure all of you know Andy. Andy sits on the Wentworth Hospital Committee. It's a group of people from Merebank, Oosterville, Bluff, who have formed a committee to try and hold that hospital accountable and get them to provide the services that they should be. They have a march tomorrow morning. Andy, where are you meeting?
In fact, if the guys would like to meet at Wentworth Hospital, it's not a problem at all. But we're going to meet at the community centre in Wentworth at 8 o'clock in the morning. It is a protected march, which means that Metro and the SAPs will be there as well. So it's a legalised march. And I don't know if any of you guys go to Wentworth Hospital, but the conditions there are absolutely shocking. We are losing patients there on a daily basis. That's how bad it is. So the health system in South Africa is shocking. And I'm sure you all know about that as well. So if you can attend those kind of meetings, it's great to have you on board there. 8 o'clock tomorrow morning at the community centre in Wentworth, and we get the disperse from there. Thanks, Ron.
Well done, well done.
All right, everybody. Taking Back Our Community has started tonight. I just want to thank you all. Travel safely and just watch the socials for our next meeting. And we hope that each one brings one, and we've already doubled our numbers. Thanks so much.
Thank you to the Bureau of Ag, Ellison and yourself, to the committee there, what they are doing. And I think we do, all of us here stand behind you guys, and we just stand up for everything you're doing. You know it's all
Joe. Yeah. I'm sorry. I even gave it a notion.